Dude, say it on the air. Don't say it during the break, because then you are exactly what you're accusing others of being.
If you would, I don't know, stop talking
say it.
And give a guy a chance to say exactly what you want me to say.
Mic off.
Yours or mine? Because this is a rare time for you. I'm seeing the Eric Armstead clip, and I haven't heard the audio yet, but we are climbing over each other to defend a rookie kicker who missed a kick. And I'm seeing the clip. I'm seeing Deebo Samuel lose a trash talk battle. It comes across as soft to me. You played a tough team in Cleveland, and they punched you in the mouth. I see all these things, and it makes me draw a conclusion. This team's not winning the Super Bowl. That's what I said during the break, and I'll say it on the air. This team they have not shown the grittiness of late that you need to get it done in January and February. Now, new information, things can change, but I see this. We have full confidence in his abilities, and we trust him moving forward. Jake is a rookie kicker who will have plenty of opportunities to prove himself again. Yeah, he will. And Deebo Samuel's out there pregame, woofing and stomping, and then one play in, you got knocked out of the game. And then you proceeded to get clowned in a social media back and forth by a guy on another team who's basically saying, catch me outside. And it comes across to me as a little soft. Your goat farm, your goat fence is low. You're allowing people to get your goat. Your kicker did not come through in a big moment. This to me is soft, Mark. And soft teams don't win the Super Bowl. Okay? You happy? You can jump back in at any time.
I'm here. I'm just letting you cook.
I mean, I'm seeing all these things, and it's leading me to draw certain conclusions. And it's interesting. We talked to Peter King earlier about the way they play and whether or not it's sustainable long term. And now we've got, McCaffrey, who is maybe not out but hurt. You got Deebo, who's maybe not out but hurt. And you've got Dre Greenlaw, who has already missed a game. Trent Williams is maybe not out, but he's hampered. So I find these things to be interesting in terms of, can you play that way? Can you play that physically? I know they're talking a big game. Can you be that physical when it counts?
Well, we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
I do find it interesting that you came in here maybe a bit tongue-in-cheek, but you were all over Steiny for calling Deebo soft. And then 3 hours later, you just called the entire team soft.
I just don't know why you have to fight these battles. I mean, why you have to go to social media and defend your kicker, Jake Moody. He missed a kick, and he's a rookie. And, I mean, we can just move on. I don't know why you have to, fall over yourself to defend him.
Is he falling over himself?
No, I guess that's an overstatement.
So we got a problem now with a teammate having his teammates back.
It's not so much that you have his back. Do you need to have his back? He missed a kick.
He's doing a podcast or an interview or content of some sort, and what's going to get talked about 48 hours after the game against the Browns. Among the things that are going to be discussed are the fact that they missed a kick that would have won the football game. And Jake Moody's name is at the front of the line in terms of things that we mention when we talk about why the 49ers lost. I came in here yesterday and said of all the things that frustrated me about the game, that one actually frustrates me the most. That doesn't mean I'm blaming him for the loss. It does mean that I look at this game and go, I'm kind of tired already. It's been one day, and I'm tired of people going, well, I can't expect him to make a kick because, he's a rookie. It's like, you can't expect him to make a 41-yard kick because he's a rookie? Is it pressure? Sure. Is it hard? Sure. You're in the NFL. I love that Peter King has him listed next to Desmond Ridder as the GOAT of the week in the NFL. He missed a kick that was clean, and there was not a good reason to miss it. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do that, especially on a good team. Doesn't mean you're blaming him for the loss. I have also, though, no issue if a teammate wants to come out and publicly have his teammates back. I don't see any harm in that.
Yeah, I don't know if there's harm in that.
Well, but it seems like you see it as a sign of them being soft, the 49ers?
It's a sign. It's a sign that, why do you need to come out and defend your kicker?
Why
he
not?
Missed a kick.
Why not? Like, he's asked the question or the subject matter comes up.
Right. He missed a kick.
Yeah.
Kickers miss kicks.
Right.
And defensive linemen, they miss tackles. And offensive linemen, they hold. And this is football. It happens.
And they get publicly torched for this stuff by people like you and me.
Right.
So,
because that's ultimately your job is to make that kick.
Right.
Everything else you do in the game is mostly insignificant when it comes to that big moment.
But our job is to have interesting conversation, and I bet there are people who are like, sometimes, those last 5 minutes, that wasn't it.
Sure.
Right.
So, and we get ripped for it.
Do we? You know what I mean? Like,
in the court of public opinion and in social media, and whether or not, if people tune out, then we hear about it in the ratings and the show meetings.
But that's 1/1,000,000th the attention of what happens,
of course, in an NFL game,
player.
no doubt.
And by the way, Jake Moody is half our age. Like, here's the thing that I would say about it. I don't have some sort of violin that I want to play for Jake Moody. Dude, you're a pro now, and you've got to make the kick. However, I am going to acknowledge the mental difficulty of the experience that he just had. I also would argue that Eric Armstead is incentivized for Jake to do better next time.
Sure.
His teammates want him to do better next time. Well, how do we get the best out of Jake? Let's keep Jake's confidence high. I'm a firm believer, in fact, Dibs, the number one thing, if somebody asked me, because I'm now, I'm 48 years old. If somebody came up to me and said, what is the one thing that you want your kids to have? Confidence. That's it. I think it makes the world go round. I think your life is awesome if you have it, and it struggles if you don't. I literally think it's the key to life. Someone asked me, not that I'm God or anywhere in between, but if someone asked me, what do you think's the key to life? Confidence. Confidence. Just like love every minute, no matter your situation. Make the lemonade out of the lemons. What have you? The 49ers are incentivized to have Jake Moody be confident. And I don't know what they observed on that plane. I know what people said on TV. They said it looked like the guy just swallowed a boulder. And if that's the case...
Before the kick or after?
Both. So get him back on his feet. You know what I mean? Like,
via a social media post.
Well, whatever. Who knows what he said to him privately? There was a long plane flight home. I'm sure he got dapped on the shoulder by every single guy who went to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, all I'm saying is... we have no idea what the conversations are, where the kid's head is at. But to see that and think it's a sign of weakness, that I don't understand.
Yeah, I look at this now 2 days removed from the loss, and the page should be turned, and you could ultimately act and do whatever you want to do. And this goes to the Gabe Kapler cameo. If Gabe Kapler wants to go on Cameo and charge people $225, and if he wants to do videos while riding his bike and videos while driving his car, and he wants to have a side hustle sending out personalized messages for money, that's up to you. I'm not here to say you can't do it. I think it's a bad look when you're a manager who has image problems in terms of what the fan base thinks about you. And so when I look at this as a fan of this team and I see a player coming out 2 days after a game to defend the kicker who simply missed a kick, it seems to me like we're trying too hard to spin the narrative, and it's not Jake Moody's fault. Of course it's not Jake Moody's fault. It's everybody's fault. You lose as a team, you win as a team, and maybe it's our fault in the media because we talk about quarterback records and, Brock Purdy's record, his quarterback record. Well, every time he won a game, it's because his team, and every time he loses a game, it's because of his team.
Yeah, but that's not the way people talk, and therefore to say that that's not going to penetrate and get into the heads of guys, I don't think is realistic. These are people, and they do hear, they do listen, they do read, they do watch, and to be human, it's going to get to you. And if you're Eric Armstead and you're a team leader, you are actively trying immediately to get Jake back on the horse as quickly as possible. And oh, by the way, how soon is it going to be where that scenario presents itself again, it might not even be this year. It might not even be next year.
Could be Monday.
It could be next week. Exactly right.
Could be Monday.
But you want him to be ready and feeling good. Like kicker, no different than golf, man. That's a super mental position.
For sure.
And when you lose it, Ian Baker Finch, sometimes you can't get it back. And so to me, there's like A to B reason for it, which is that. But secondarily, to hear what he's saying, which is just kind of it's a comment about a subject that we're all talking about, and I would expect a teammate to say nothing different, which is to say we're a team, and so, you were the one on the field at the end, but here are the mistakes that we made, and here's the mistakes that they made, or whatever. It seems like a pretty normal thing to say. To take that and view it as a sign of weakness for the team is... I don't know. I think this is it just feels over the top to me.
Yeah.
You think the 49ers are soft or have a mental issue collectively? Like what? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah,
what are you saying?
I don't know what the motivation is to go out publicly and make this comment about Jake Moody. If you want to privately pick him up, you do that. But to me, this only propels the Jake Moody situation further into the conversation. When you talk about Jake Moody, it's Tuesday, you move past the game, you lose on Sunday, he misses the kick. Monday, we all pick through it. Tuesday, it should be over. But you come out and you make the comments on a social media platform, or I don't know if it's a podcast, Third and Long is via the Title League. I see that. And it becomes a clip that's played. And so now the Jake Moody question... And, yesterday you said it's not a situation. It's not the Jake Moody situation. And I agree with you. But it is a case where you're looking back at a game now 2 days removed, and Jake Moody is still being discussed, where it doesn't need to be discussed. I don't know how this helps Jake Moody get over it in any way.
This is interesting to me. First off, you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app. Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Our conversation with Peter King is about 7 or 8 minutes away. If you missed any portion of it, really good in-depth stuff on the 49ers, Browns, the situation, Purdy, Moody, all of it going forward. Eric Armstead is part of something called Title League, and a new episode dropped 4 hours ago. Eric Armstead, I'm sure, recorded it, I would imagine, yesterday. The episode then needs to be edited. It's video and audio, and it gets dropped 4 hours ago, about 1 o'clock our time. You would expect Eric Armstead to go on and talk about what? I mean...
Talk about the game, his performance.
That's what he did.
And
all of that is in there. You would expect him to avoid the Jake Moody conversation entirely when doing a lengthy...
I haven't seen the entire episode, and I'm not sure if you have. You can enlighten me.
It's 25 minutes long. All I know are the headlines. The headlines of the issues that were discussed, battling adversity, how the team moves forward, and he discusses Jake Moody at the end of the game. Yeah.
Jake Moody battling adversity and what we can expect. And, I don't know what I expect him to say. All I know is what I can glean from this coming out on a Tuesday. And if it's recorded on Monday, fine. It's released on Tuesday. And now on Tuesday, we're talking about it. And if you look at the topics that are trending right now, which is not a complete indicator of what people are talking about, one of them is Deebo Samuel. And it's not as much about Christian McCaffrey and his injury. It's about Deebo Samuel and a trash talk back and forth with a guy who didn't even play in the game. These things, to me, are unnecessary distractions as you're trying to get beyond a loss and get ready for another game.
Well, the Deebo thing, to me, that's a completely different conversation than Eric Armstead having a podcast and talking about the game and therefore saying that we got Jake Moody's back and I know he's going to get it right next time, or he's a good kicker and, he's going to have this opportunity again. That, to me, is totally different than the idea of Deebo Samuel and C.J. Gardner-Johnson not letting something go that, quite frankly, I don't even know what it's really about. Whatever their beef is, they've got a beef. I don't know, man. I look. It's 2023. Draymond Green is in front of the microphone after almost every game. Richard Sherman is on the mic after every game. There are so many athletes who react. They've taken their narrative into their own hands, and they discuss what's going on. And you don't have to love it.
Sure.
But by the same token, to then take that and put a characteristic on a team and call them soft, I think is wild, especially coming from two people who literally do what we're talking about for a living.
For a living.
Right.
This is my job.
Well, and it may be his someday too.
And it can be. And if he wants to use his platform, he can use it however he wants. I'm not telling him what he can or can't say or what he should or shouldn't say.
No,
all I'm telling you is how
soft.
I perceive it.
You're saying that he's soft for doing it.
I'm not saying that he's soft.
You're
I'm
saying the 49ers
this comes
are soft.
across as a soft response to adversity and losing a game. And I have the right. Do I not have the right to have my opinion?
Did anyone argue that you don't?
No, but
I think it's
you're trying to paint me in a corner.
Thought. I'm not painting you in a corner. I think
you're judging me based on what I am thinking and what I'm perceiving.
Yes, we're having a debate, and I disagree wildly.
And you can.
Wildly with what you're saying.
And you have that right.
I am not painting you in a corner. I'm not attacking you. I'm simply telling you.
I'm not feeling attacked.
That it is absolutely wild to me that Eric Armstead, who has a podcast, would go on the air on Monday, the day after a game, edited release Tuesday, address the Jake Moody thing, and have you think that means there's something mentally soft about the team.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that he was mentally soft.
You said that it says something mentally soft about the team.
I don't believe I said that mentally soft.
Okay, tell me what you said.
I said that it comes across to me as overly defensive and a soft way to look at the way you lose a game.
Okay.
You play a football game and you lose. And largely you got pushed around on both sides of the ball. More the offense got pushed than the defense, but they ran the ball at you all game and you lost. And so you come out and you have every right to do whatever podcast and talk about whatever you want. I'm not saying that you shouldn't talk or you can't talk, but I'm saying the way I look at it, and you're defending your rookie kicker, and we make sure that we point out that he's a rookie, even though you signed him and you drafted him to make these kicks and he doesn't make the kick. And I'm not saying he should come out and bury his teammate.
Yeah, what would you like him to say? But it seems
a little bit, it just seems unnecessarily defensive.
What would you like him to say?
He missed a kick.
Yeah.
Big deal.
That's kind of what he said.
Okay. I haven't heard the entire clip, but did you hear the whole?
I listened to the part about Jake Moody. Yeah.
Do we have the sound?
He backs his teammate.
Right.
He backs his teammate. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know why, especially those of us who do this for a living, why sometimes it feels like we've got a problem with other people putting their stuff up on the internet as well. Like you mentioned the Kapler thing. The manager of the New York Yankees is on Cameo doing stuff. I feel it would be incredibly disingenuous for me to get on someone about a side gig. I've got 48 of them.
Sure.
Honestly. And so is there anything that you see from Gabe Kapler that suggests that it takes away from him managing the Giants? Or you think because he makes a lot of money, he shouldn't be allowed to make more?
He can make all the money he wants.
So why is it about optics?
Because the perception of Gabe Kapler from the fan base, a large majority, or not a large majority of the fan base, but a portion of the fan base, is that he's more concerned with his own image than he is being the best manager he can be. And that's where this plays into that notion. And I know the news came out and the story broke after he had already lost his job.
Yeah.
So it becomes a bit of confirmation bias in terms of what people thought about Gabe Kapler. And maybe he was more concerned with the way he looked and all of his Instagram burger videos and his coffee videos than he was about being the best manager he could be.
But aren't we supposed to not worry about what other people think of us?
You know he's in a job where, and we're also in a job where it matters what people think about us.
Well, I mean, from that perspective, professionally, maybe it matters no matter what you do. You have to do a good job. But I don't think that you're on Cameo. That doesn't have anything to do with your job. And so you're worried about the perception of others. I don't know. I've always tried like hell. It's very hard. but tried to live a life where I'm not worried about what other people's perceptions are.
Yep.
Because nobody knows what's going on the inside of anybody else.
How you and I are perceived in this job is critical to our success in many ways. If the listeners don't perceive us as people who are knowledgeable or likable, then they probably won't tune in. And when you're the manager of the Giants, public perception is part of the job. Winning is obviously job number one.
Yeah.
But if fans don't like you and they're turned off by you and they don't want to go to your games because of that, it becomes a thing.
Yeah, that I would argue that the Giants have argued all along, as have plenty of other teams. When you win, you're likable. I think a lot of people have said Kyle Shanahan's not likable. But then he was 5-0, and everyone went, well, we kind of like him.
You can tolerate it when you're 5-0, absolutely.